While he's doing that, wait.
So I actually just got done setting it up. So I'll be taking. Let me just ping everyone in the chat. So it's gonna be like an active in.
Yeah. So while these people join, I understand. This is my first time in a Warrior server. I know that this server is a Muslim server, so I'd like to say, Assalamu alaikum, and I hope
Walaikum
everybody's
assalam.
doing great. And
Walaikum assalam.
hope
Walaikum
that we
assalam.
can all do.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
We can all
bro.
do well in this debate, and
Yeah.
inshallah, we can all do well.
Yeah.
I myself have practiced Arabic, so I do know kind of what we're discussing, but I did want to formally give my respect to you, inshallah, and
Yeah. Thank you very much.
hope the debate.
I'll formally give my respect to you as well. Mr. Lila. That's at least your nickname, so we'll be calling you that from now on.
That's my nickname.
Yeah. Alright, bro. Kratos versus Lila. The trigger game between Kratos. That's obvious. Do you have any prerequisites for the debate?
I have none. No.
Yeah, no prerequisites.
As long
So you don't want to be aware, no, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, what's gonna be your? Okay, can we presuppose that both of our positions is my character beats your character?
Yeah, so my
Yeah,
opinion, or I guess my premise would be Lila no diffs, Kratos, and
yeah,
Whis in power system.
basically. Okay, yeah, basically my character beats your
Uh,
character. Yeah,
sure, yeah. Uh,
yeah, yeah. Okay. What's gonna be your opening statement? You can. By the way, send your scans and stuff in the hashtag debate chat.
Hashtag debate. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
clarifying that. So,
yeah,
I'd like to kind of start off here by saying, like I've already said previously, I know this is a Muslim server, and I'm very big on giving respect, which is why I have my face cam on. So,
yeah.
assalamu alaikum again to
Alaikum salam,
everybody in the
alaikum salam.
GC, and I'd kind of like to thank you, and I'd kind of like
Alaikum
to
salam.
extend wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I'd kind of like to extend to everybody the opportunity to learn more about Lila, the character, and kind of scale on growth, because the actual reason why I don't debate Whis is because Lila's very broken in Whis. It's because she pretty much outscales every character, probably because she's near boundless level with the scans. I'm going to send later on, but she's very powerful in that category, which is why I don't like to debate it. But I urge you guys to go and learn more about accountability,
Okay.
Lila's powers and stuff. And, I hope we can have a great debate here today. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's my opening statement.
All right. That's very interesting. But within debates, when we say opening statement, I'm just going to clarify this for you. We mean what's going to be the basis behind the premise. What's going to be the start behind what supports your exact position, right? That's basically going to be
Oh
the
yeah,
case. Yeah. So that's what I'm grasping at.
right. So in that case, I have no opening argument or statements. I guess I'll just explain it when it's my turn to debate. So yeah, I expect an opportunity if anyone has an opening statement.
Yeah, but not. When I ask you, that's basically trying to imply that you're the one that's supposed to start when I ask that. So would you be fine to show us some Lila scaling and give us your opinion on why? Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's the case. So, like I said, my premise, Lila, pretty much no diffs Kratos and Whis due to her ability to, by the way, I did not say this yet, transcend reality and existence. So, in other words, transcend means above. She's above reality and existence. So, I would like to kind of share some scans, but before that, I want to kind of summarize the decisive reasonings on why Lila, with Gimi's power, which she obtains in the London Special, is actually far above Kratos in terms of everything that we're about to talk about right now. So, thing is, her power is 1A. So I don't know if you guys know the tiering system or scaling. I don't regularly debate Wisp, but I have looked into this specifically because I feel like it's important. It's 1A. 1A is very close to boundless. It's nearly boundless. So specifically, the ability I want to look at is her transduality. As the scan I'm about to send is going to show that she would be everything and its opposite. So everything and nothing at the same exact
Okay.
time. So creation and destruction. And that would be in one specific being, right? Because it would all be controlled together within Lila's power, which she does obtain in the London Special. And this would be impossible within the bounds of logic and reason. And I really hope that we don't have to go over all logical fallacies. But her very existence would be something that can't be measured or comprehended with any math or duality-based steering system, which is why she's tier 1A, because she represents totality, which transcends every single concept, including propositional logic in itself and all other concepts taken together. So I'd kind of like to show where it's shown that she's everything and nothing at the same time. Everything and its opposite, I suppose. So let me just kind of send that scan in the debate general channel. I've had that
All right,
scan
listen.
because I debated someone with today. So just scan. I have it somewhere here.
All right.
So Lila's power right here. And Lila controls this being, by the way. This is the being that she has power over. So it would be this. So everything that was, is, and will be, and this is why it's primarily scaled in the tiering system, which we have competent Lila scalers scaling this as 1A and above. So frankly, they have it near boundless because of how overpowered this is, and the reality warping and quantum imprisonment that Lila does have here within having this power is something that no other person has seen before in the verse and also outside of the verse, because Lila's reality warping would obtain to other creatures such as Kratos, right? It would obtain to Kratos as well, as we do have. I have seen some Kratos scans, and I have seen kind of an idea where he scales. When I looked at the wiki, I saw that Kratos scaled at like around 3C or something like that. I'm not totally sure if that was a low ball or a high ball, but I understand with the weapons he's a bit higher. But specifically, what I'll try to reiterate is I think we need a little bit of context to understand where Lyla truly scales. So we have to understand about the verse where Lyla comes from is that the verse has infinite timelines where people are able to travel with special powers like teleportation or time travel, and there's also a power which allows the person to leave a current timeline and retry to accomplish a task over and over again until they succeed, which creates a large number of additional timelines in the process as well. Um, and the other reason that Lila with Gimi's power would be one and therefore completely at scale Kratos is because the author of the universe itself also exists as a character within the verse. So the author's verse is also a part of Gimi's power, which Lila also has access to. So Lila would theoretically be able to wipe out all of existence and then warp Kratos into nothing. It would be something that Lila would be able to do very easily, considering her transduality, which she would be able to exist independently and qualitatively beyond various systems, and she would be able to erase existence entirely and exist in a state of quantum entanglement that Kratos would have no power over. So that's kind of my opening statement, if you want to call it that. So I'd like to extend the opportunity to Warrior to kind of go off with his statements.
All right. You gave us a lot of core information here. So I'm going to ask you something on one of the first things that you stated. All right. So first of all, you stated that you are aware that she is illogical and she contradicts the law of identity and all three laws of thought, right?
Yeah, well, frankly, I don't look at the three laws of thought as something that's imperative in debating. I understand. I just said she's above all concepts, which I guess would, in theory, include the three laws of thought, but that can't be an argument against her. I don't understand
Yeah,
why
yeah, but
that's
like,
an
yeah,
argument.
but like, I'm just gonna lead this to something else because you're gonna. So she basically, you're aware that she basically, violates the laws of thought, like, essentially, and you're aware that she can't be imagined.
Yeah, she's above laws of thought as well. And she can also become laws of thought if you put it that way, because she would have power over laws of thought, considering she's above that.
So
So she can
basically,
do whatever she wants with the laws of thought
so
in
basically,
this
okay,
modern
so
version.
you're aware that the very definition of fiction that would describe imaginary events, right?
But yes, yeah. Well, she would be above fiction as well if we look at the boundless level term.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
like,
not boundless. I'm not
yeah,
lying.
but like, like, let's just take this step by step. Like, let's just take this step by step. Before we get into like any deeper argument. So, you're aware that fiction describes imaginary events.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And you're aware that verbatim stated that, Lyla, she can't be imagined, right? Because she's illogical and stuff. But if your character is logical,
So
right? But your character is like illogical, then it can't be imagined, and therefore, it wouldn't, by definition, it wouldn't be fiction. You already agree with that, so, backtracking is not gonna really gonna help in this conversation, if you want to, like, go with that.
right. Yeah, I completely understand. I don't like backtracking, but specifically what I'm trying to say is that Lila can make herself be imagined, considering she's above the entire concept of imagination.
Yeah, she can. Yeah, yeah, listen. The author can imply that. The author can say that. Doesn't make it inherently true, right? So we have to look at it from objective perspective. Okay. So for example, just because the author of, for example, Invincible, just because he says that Invincible can beat Superman, that doesn't make it true, right? So we have to look at it from an objective perspective. So basically, just because the author says it doesn't make it inherently true. And if we go with the inherent truth in which you agree to, she wouldn't exist in fiction whatsoever. But by virtue of everything you've agreed with so far.
Right, but wouldn't she have control over the concept of truth instead of going backwards, moving forward, stuff
That's
like that?
that's only that's only if the author says like within her own narrative, but that's like kind of just referring back to the narrative. If you refer back to the narrative and don't really like interact with an argument, which basically as a whole, the entire narrative, everything you're trying to argue hinges off of off the fiction, right? So by referring back to the narrative, you're already like pretty much well, yeah, pretty much, preferring back to the thing already, like, I've already defeated, right? So, yeah, she pretty much wouldn't exist in fiction whatsoever. She could exist within the narrative, right? Because the author implies it, because the author has written that. But that wouldn't be the
Well,
case. Yeah, but that wouldn't be the case in like, objectively as we see here, right here.
sure. So what you're saying, I think I've kind of understood what you said. It's a very detailed analysis. You said that since Lila cannot exist within people's imagination and it's only narrative within her own verse, then she really wouldn't be able to affect Kratos, making my entire argument be unhingeable. And I understand that, but in this theoretical debate that we're going off against, we're assuming that they each have access to powers from their own universe. So wouldn't Lila's power also be able to seep onto Kratos if they're on equal fighting ground? That's my
Well,
question.
here's the thing.
Am I correct?
We didn't presuppose. We didn't give a prerequisite for equal grounds or anything like that because that was never presupposed. We're debating something called crossverse, right? And within crossverse, everything can be argued in here, and if it follows through and it's not refuted, then it would stand. It would objectively stand, right? And since my argument has been standing so far, it would be true within the conversation. So I'm going to give you two opportunities here. Okay. So the opportunity you can is you can drop you can drop this point and scale other things that are related to her. Or we can move on to my scaling. That's like basically, or a third option is you can try to like interact with my argument, but you've already agreed with everything so far. So I think if you try to interact with my argument, you would have to backtrack on one of the things you agreed with.
So I would rather not backtrack on stuff I've already agreed with because I don't want to seem like the type of person who would do stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because you've brought up some very valid arguments, and I also do agree with them. So I'd
yeah.
like to say that you can go ahead and present your argument, and then the judge can decide whose
All right,
argument was better.
all right, sure.
Yes.
So basically, uh, just do something. Kratos can break a tree. That's it. Look, let me just send the scan in the debate channel. Here you go. Kratos can break a tree. There you go. Enjoy. I see that cheeky smile.
So
All right, what's up?
yeah, I just want to kind of say that him breaking a tree is pretty impressive, but I'm not sure how that scales to tier 1A.
I mean, we're not arguing based off a tier list. So we're arguing like based off of which character beats which, correct? And since my character is like right now above yours, since your character basically scales nowhere right now. Since my character is above yours as of currently, you agree. I mean, it would obviously deduce that my character would beat yours, which kind of fulfills my position.
So, can I ask where you scale Kratos with this great feat that he broke a tree?
Uh, you mean like we're actually scared Kratos? I mean, right now based off this debate, he's like as of now he's like just tree level, but that's still above your character. But like if like I can give you some information on like where I actually skip Kratos, but like since we're in a debate, I feel like that's kind of unrelated. We can get to that conversation after the debate, but like as of now, I kind of want to focus on the substance we have like within this conversation.
Sure. So I'd like to kind of say number one that considering that Kratos' tree level, that does make me kind of rethink what I've seen on the tiering scale. But I guess you said in the context of this debate, so I guess we can go back from that. So I'd like to go back to our first point, I guess, after you brought up the scaling.
I mean, isn't that backtracking though? Like if you go back to the first point, or are you just trying to give an overview?
Well, yeah, we can't go forward without going back. Basically, what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is because we've already gone through the scaling, so I feel like we have to go through the inconsistencies that you see in my scaling, because we're not going to really be able to go from there. Otherwise, we're not going to
Wait.
basically.
Wait, okay, so wait, yeah, but like if the character I mean if the debate concludes here, then we can just like conclude to the judge, don't you think? If like we've already like gone through the two I mean if we've already gone through the two major things of a crossverse debate, which is supposed to be scaling the first character scaling X character and scaling Y character. Correct? Those are the two major points of a crossverse debate. Don't you
That's
think?
absolutely correct. That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, can you please? I know it's backtracking, but can you please go over what you've said about my character and kind of where you think she scales based on what I've given in this debate? I know it's
I mean
backtracking, but we're not going to hold it against you.
I mean wait, I mean you're asking what I actually think?
Oh yeah, what you actually think?
Okay, I mean, going outside of this debate. I mean, I'm not saying this within the debate. Like, we're going outside of it. Like, pretend we're in a room. Pretend we're, in a fighting ring, right? Pretend we're in a boxing ring, and we're now out of the boxing. We're outside of the boxing ring. Okay, we're outside of the boxing right now. Uh, I think that the scam itself is debunkable in many ways. That's because it comes from the saying of the character itself. It can also come from flowery language. And it basically just looks like an anecdote from the character. So just because a character says something doesn't make it inherently true. And before you interact with that argument, that would like start another fight outside the boxing ring. But those are my actual thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to project. I just wanted to
Yeah.
hear what you said. So
Yeah, and hold on, outside of the boxing as well. I do not actually think Kratos is true level. I just scale him at true level within this conversation. I just think that if I scale him at, for example, out reversal or anything like that, it would just be overkill for a character that scales nowhere. So I just did, the most simple thing. I just searched up on Tinder GIFs, and I found that scam, and that's about it. That's about it.
yes. So
Do you want to conclude, Judge?
I think we've gone through all of our discussions, so we'll just conclude it to the judge.
All right, Nosim, go ahead.
Yeah, so from my understanding, Warriors was able to justify how your character scales nowhere. Warriors was capable of scaling his character literally to anywhere. I mean, he would have just said my character scales like 3D, and that would have been enough because your character has like inherent no scaling. So yeah, Warriors would have just won by that. Also, was good Itachi was good.
My judgment is that Noism won this debate, and I would.
That's it.
All right. Hope you have a nice day.
I know about shit. Yeah, I can upload the recording. I promise you, everybody will agree. But yeah, if that's it.
All right.
Alright.
So it seems that through our individual judge, it looks like Warrior has won the debate. So I'd like to extend my thanks for everyone who come out to watch, and hopefully you guys learned a lot about Lila. And
all right, salam.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah.
You're going to be sending scans for a debate that's about whether or not I committed an illogical fallacy, quote unquote. You're going to be sending scans for that? What the fuck are you talking about?
I will be doing that, Noism, because actually it's a very interesting topic.
Illogical fallacies.
I know about this to begin with. No, because the thing is, you have committed illogical fallacies, and I'll get to that in the debate.
Okay.
What are illogical fallacies?
The debate was recorded.
Noism.
Yeah, I know it was recorded. Amazing. Wait a minute more. Wait a minute more, and then we can. Yo, what's good, Garo? Garo, you're gonna be one of my watchers, by the way. But yeah. So, by the way, Gyro, the topic is whether or not I committed an illogical fallacy yesterday. Just to let you know. But yeah. So are we getting started? I think this is enough, people.
Let's get started.
Yeah. All right, all right.
Okay.
Who? First of all, who's y'all's judge?
Wait, first off, who's judging? Who's judging?
Okay, I'm
me
fine with
and-
Warrior Z judging. I'm fine with Gyro judging, and I'm cool with the Vidu judging.
All right, we can have either of those people judge. So
Okay, we can have Gyro judge then, or Warrior Z. We can have both Warrior Z or Gyro.
okay, yeah, we can go with Gyro then.
Okay, Gyro, you're the judge. I just need his response in chat.
Sure. And Noism, I do apologize for not being.
I'll be right
available.
back. I'll be right back. I just need to get my food.
I was just working at Dunkin' Donuts, and I was giving the donuts to the people who were asking. So I'm sorry I was not able to meet at the required moment. But I'm happy you decided to redebate because I think there's a lot of unanswered questions that need to be answered. And I'm thankful that you extend the opportunity.
Alright, I'm
People were
here.
not used to do
So
that, by
yeah,
the way.
let's get this. Let's get it started, right? So
Yeah,
the
only
topic for
Noism.
everybody. Yeah, the topic for everybody
let-
in the VC is going to be whether or not I committed an illogical fallacy yesterday while debating him. Yeah. So let's get our terms straight. What do you think an illogical fallacy is?
Like I said, I will be sending all of the scans that I have in debate general, so I will be also defining the definition of illogical fallacy. So
Yeah,
if
go ahead and
anyone
define
can-
it. That's what I told
anyone
you to
who
do.
is interested in looking at the definition of illogical fallacy, please direct your attention to the debate general channel. That's where I'm going to be putting the definition of an illogical fallacy, which is not well known within the community. So I feel
A
like
fallacy that is so far off that it can't even be considered logical. Okay, do you know what logical fallacies are? Can you give me the definition of a
I
logical
absolutely
fallacy?
do. I can get you the definition of that as well. Actually, I'll get you the difference between a logical fallacy and an illogical fallacy.
Yeah, go ahead.
So actually, I think an analogy is also good for this, and I'll also be sending that in chat.
I don't care
too.
for analogies, guys. Just give me
No,
definitions and
but
what you
no,
believe
no.
these
The
terms
analogy
mean.
is important. The analogy is
Logical
important for a lot of
fallacies
people
rely
in
on
the
errors in
I'm-
reasoning and
no,
flawed
listen.
logic, while illogical fallacies
Yes.
are completely outlandish
Okay.
and require the fabrication of things non-existent. Okay, this is
Alright.
completely retarded.
So,
No, this is
Like
a
I was saying,
incorrect definition.
Noisem is still
Right,
talking
so
over me, but like I was saying,
I'm not talking
we
over
have
you.
two water
I'm
bottles
just
right
like
here.
talking
This
about the
water bottle
definitions,
represents a
dumbass.
logical
So
fallacy, and this water bottle represents an illogical fallacy. So, like I said already in the definition, an illogical
Mhm.
fallacy is a fallacy that's so far off it can't be considered logical.
brought up, yo, his definition of an illogical fallacy is
John?
fabrication of V left so he can get him back in VC. His definition of an illogical fallacy is just fabrication of things non-existent. What the fuck does that even mean?
Oh shit.
What does he mean by non-existent in reality? What's he like ideally non-existent, and then nothing. And for the second, that doesn't make sense with the term used. Logical is not. He's just confused on the terms he's in. Yo, Lila, can you hear me? Yo, Lila.
Someone saying
I'm saying something, but like,
Listen,
made a claim.
listen,
You just made another. You just made
listen,
another
you
claim.
listen
I
to
was
me.
gonna defend it.
Look, you engaged in a logical fallacy by making your argument invalid when you said I was unable to debate with Lila, considering Lila's above propositional logic, while including the fact that you use logical reasoning to get to that conclusion, meaning the entire claim is illogical. You
Lila,
used
that-
a logical
okay,
fallacy
we heard it
to
the
make
first
your
time.
argument
We
valid,
heard you.
and
We
somehow
heard
say
you, bro.
I'm this-
Like you're just
it
repeating
makes
yourself.
absolutely no sense. You
You're
make
just repeating.
absolutely no
Amazing.
sense.
Yo. It's just amazing how you're just like repeating yourself, so you can like seem like you have any idea what you're talking about because you need more appearance in the debate. But
Poison. Look, the traditional judge would have instantly caught on to your illogical
Gyro
fallacy.
is the judge right
You
now, and
might
he's not
be
calling out
offended
shit. So
I
shut the
don't have
fuck up.
knowledge
Like,
of
man,
illogical
can I respond to
fallacies.
what you're saying?
Wait, hold on,
Still,
hold on,
it's
Lila, hold on.
irrational
Just
and
to be
it's
perfectly
illogical
clear,
to
hold on.
begin with.
Wait,
It's a
hold on.
terrible
Just to
thing
be
that you
perfectly
did.
clear, if Noism is like genuinely over speaking something productive, then I'll call it out. But you just said this like a minute ago, pretty much. We already heard it.
Exactly. So can I now speak? Like, goddamn. But anyways, I was
I
gonna
was
say.
giving the example. Wait, hold on.
What I was saying is that
Gyro, I was giving
you
the
cannot.
example of what Noism did yesterday to justify this. That's
I didn't
all I'm
ask you
saying.
for an example, first of all,
never gave the
retard. I
example.
asked you for a definition. Like, holy shit,
I
it's
gave
such a
you the
simple
example.
distinction between the two.
No, because
And that's the first
example is
thing.
good for context. It's good for context.
But we
You
are
need
not
to have
talking about
context.
context. We need to get definitions right before we can get examples right. You cannot be informative
Yes.
while giving an example of a thing while not
You
giving.
Wait, hold on. Don't
absolutely
stray here.
need
Hold on. Don't stray here.
context.
Noism, just give your response. This is kind of
Okay.
like getting.
Don't talk to me like
Please
nonstop.
give
I was gonna say.
Please give your response. No, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say. You said that because they said you cannot argue for this character, that would inherently be invalid because any argument for or against her is just going to be invalid as it cannot like follow. Well, first of all, you made an argument for her. Arguments can be invalid. I don't know what an invalid claim would be within the context of an argument. An invalid just means premises don't follow, like logically follow from the conclusion, right? Well, no, conclusion does logically follow from the premises. My bad. That's what invalid means in the context of debating, in the context of prop logic. Now, when you say my claim is going to be invalid, well, I don't know what you mean by that. Can you clarify what an invalid claim is?
I'm going to clarify how I got to the conclusion to begin with. So, Noisem, I actually have a question for you. How did you
Answer my
come to the
question. Don't
I'm
answer
answering
my
your
question.
question.
No, I'm
No,
not
no,
going to let
no.
you speak.
Wait,
I'm
hold on,
asking
You're
my
hold
going
on,
to
hold
answer
on,
your
hold on.
own question. Listen, Noisem. So, how did you get to the conclusion?
Don't answer my question with a question. Answer what I'm asking you. Answer what I just
Okay,
said.
all right, Noisem, what'd you ask? Me.
Also, you don't even know what I asked, so you can't check. Okay, amazing.
No,
I was going to say,
because I forget stuff, so I have to write it down. But I was going to tell you instantly what my question was. But if you want me to answer your question first, I absolutely can. So please
yeah,
provide it.
yeah, I'd like that when I ask you like a question. I'd like to respond, but
Sure.
answer what an invalid claim is going to be within the context of prop logic. Go ahead.
Within the context of propositional logic, you're the one who brought up propositional logic to begin with. I don't have to answer that question.
Well,
I
no, you
don't.
just claimed that any claim is going to be invalid when talking about your character. I said that your argument is an invalid, which actually makes sense because we actually know what an invalid argument is and what it looks like. Now,
But
I asked
it's
you to
clear.
give
It's
me,
clear you don't
and
know
but you
what a
said I
logical
made an
fallacy is.
invalid claim about your character. What is an
You
invalid claim?
absolutely. It's an invalid claim based on an illogical fallacy. That's how it was an
Okay,
illogical fallacy. Because
that's
the whole
trivial.
fabric
That's
of it was
circular. That's
fabricated.
circular
It
conclude.
was
That's
something
circular
that was
conclude.
so absurd that it was off the spectrum. That's how he considered
That's
it an
circular
illogical
conclude.
fallacy.
That's circular conclude. Gyro, give judgment on this point.
No, we're not done. No, no, no. Wait, listen.
Wait,
Okay,
hold on.
he spoke.
No, you
Let
you
me
just went
just.
circular. I don't care to like
No, 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 no.
continue the
Hold on.
debate with you if you're just going circular. And this is why people accuse me of farming low tiers like Gyro does in Tokyo. Like Jesus fucking
Okay,
Christ.
all right.
Can
Okay.
we conclude?
Noise.
Oh, and by the way, we should have our conversation after this. Is that fine?
Yeah, Warrior Z is gonna beat you up after me, but yeah.
Okay, Noise. One question to you before we conclude, because I've answered your
Okay,
questions
sure.
pretty fairly. So, how did you come to the conclusion that Lila falls victim to propositional logic because you can't argue for her? So, how did you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, I just said that when we have propositional logic and you're trying to argue for your character, which immediately utilizes propositional logic, right? And then since you're using that, your argument is going to be invalid since propositional logic is contingent on logic and your character is just not logical. So you can't really use logic and apply logic to an illogical thing. That would just be oxymoronic. So yeah, that was
Right.
my whole like entire
So,
claim and
so
the
you-
point I was making.
so frankly, the whole detail that you just gave right now seems like you use logical reasoning to get to this point. Is that correct? Did you use logical reasoning to get to the claim that
Yeah,
Lila
you
can't?
inherently need logical reasoning to debate and argue using prop logic. Your character lacks that. That's why I'm saying you out to concede the debate because you cannot argue for your character. That's my entire point.
But your claim itself is invalid because Lila is above logic, like we've already established.
Yeah,
So the
That begs the
claim
question.
all
doesn't
arguments made
actually
for this
matter
character are
until
going to be
you
invalid. Exactly,
when
that's
you
what I'm
said
saying.
that, you basically
All,
made an
all
illogical
arguments for this
fallacy.
character
You
are not
stated
claims.
that
My bad.
the whole point of this debate is to prove that you made an illogical fallacy. Correct? Is that correct? Is it?
Yeah, you're trying to justify I made
You're
an
trying to prove that what
illogical
you
fallacy. Yeah.
exact always emphasize illogical as if it's not true, which it is. But I just wanted to point that out. Specifically,
I'm
what you
pointing it
did
out
when
because
you
it's a term that nobody uses and nobody's known of the term. It's a rhetorical tactic. I know you're like lack rhetoric, so like you're not know, but it's fine. So anyway, continue.
I know what rhetoric is. Listen, Noisem. What I'm
I
saying
didn't
is
say
that
you
you
don't know
made
what
the
rhetoric is. I
illogical
said you
fallacy.
lack
You
it.
made the claim that Lila was what?
I didn't say you don't know what rhetoric is. I said you lack it. But go
I guess
ahead.
that's true. Yeah. That's my fault. Look, Noisem, you made this fault in your error when you claimed that I wasn't able to debate with Lila because she's above logic. but you used logical reasoning to get to that conclusion, which Lila is already above logical reasoning, making your entire claim invalid. That was my entire point that I'm still trying to bring up with you, thus making what you've said an illogical fallacy. The claim that you originally made, meaning I don't have to respond to it because it's invalid. That's my entire point.
Conclude. You just repeated yourself. Conclude.
Yeah, I just wanted
Okay.
to
Garo,
bring
who won?
awareness to.
Wait, hold on. Just to be clear, Lila, you're saying that since like he's trying to apply logic towards a character that is illogical, he wouldn't actually be a applicant.
Yeah, since he tried to apply
Okay.
logic to a character who's above
Garo, do
logic,
you notice
that
how
means
he's conceding
he's
to my
Okay.
entire point? Do you see how he's conceding to my entire point by saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also that begs the question as well. So what's in question right now, or what was in question within the context of the debate, was whether or not the character is illogical. If he's saying that the argument towards getting the character is not valid, then you can't say, okay, since my conclusion is true, then your conclusion can be true, or your
Exactly.
reasoning can be true.
his argument in itself was invalid because he used logical reasoning to get to that conclusion.
That
That's what I'm
presupposes
saying.
your
And
character is
and you're
illogical.
saying that, Ton, and the reason for you saying that is because your character would be illogical, and that presupposes your conclusion. That's kind of like the whole point.
Exactly. That's why I call it circular. Okay. Thank God we have somebody keeping track. Jesus Christ.
So, Jar, who do you think won? I guess since you're the individual judge.
I don't know. Okay, I would need to hear like the full conversation before that. Like